there comes a point in life when you realize how much time you've actually been waiting for somebody else to be ready, or waiting for someone else's schedule to open up, or waiting for somebody to say, yeah, I'll go with you. Waiting for the kids to get older. You're waiting until you have a relationship, or you're waiting until your girlfriends get off the same week, or you're waiting until somebody else has the money, or you're waiting until somebody else wants to go where you want to go. And before you know it, you've got a whole list of places that you wanted to see. Um, Restaurants you wanted to try, things you wanted to experience, and memories you haven't made yet because you've been waiting for somebody to come with you. We're talking today about that today. Uh, so, hello, my Simply Lili family. I hope everyone is doing well, and welcome back to the Simply Lili podcast. Listen, we're getting very close to the end of season 4, and I am so happy that this season has been so great. And for all of you who have been listening, no permission slips has been the theme of this season. And let me tell you something. At this point, we just don't have the permission slips on the table anymore. Because listen, we have actually ripped them up. They're shredded. They're in the garbage. I'm washing my hands. We're done. Because this season has really been about recognizing how many areas of our lives we've actually been waiting for permission to enter. Like, for instance, permission to change, permission to say no, permission to love ourselves, permission to look in that mirror and accept the woman looking back, permission to embrace our bodies, permissions to feel desirable, or permission to step into this stage of life and say, hey, I'm still here. And above all, and I'm not finished. And in our last episode, which was the Post-Menopausal Power, we talked about exactly that. Life doesn't end because our bodies change. Womanhood doesn't disappear. Think about it. Desire doesn't disappear. And of course, purpose doesn't disappear. You know why? Because we don't disappear. And I think that's another step in that conversation, because once you start loving yourself and once you start making yourself a priority, once you stop apologizing for taking up space, there's like something else that happens. Because what you start doing is you start asking, what do I actually want to do with the rest of my life? Not for the rest of my life, with the rest of my life. Not what does everybody else need from me, or not what do the children need from me, or not where does my husband or my partner, family, the job, church, friend group, everybody else need from me. I'm asking, what does Lili want to experience? And maybe your name isn't Lili, but all you have to do is put your name there. And what does she want to experience? Maybe there's a place you've always wanted to see, or maybe you've always wanted to sit on a beach somewhere you've never been, or maybe you want to take the train to another city, and maybe you want to get into an airplane and go somewhere completely unfamiliar. But one of the biggest things is maybe you just want to spend the weekend in a beautiful hotel, order room service, put on that robe, and get into that big old bed and watch television that nobody else wants to watch. And you don't have to ask one single person, or what do you want to eat? Or can we talk about that freedom for a minute? Because sometimes that is a vacation. Nobody's asking, so when are we eating, or what time are we leaving, or why are you taking so long? I don't want to go there, or that's too expensive, or I'm tired. No. I'm going downstairs at 7:30. I'm eating at that restaurant I picked. I'm ordering dessert. And if I want to go back upstairs and be in bed at 9:30, 9:15, 9:30, hey, I can. See, to me, that sounds like a vacation. But I know what somebody's probably thinking. So what? You want me to travel by myself? Is that where you're getting at, Lily? And the answer is yes, because I have been obsessed with this whole Tracy Ellis Ross traveling alone and moving alone and doing things by herself that it's actually had me reflect like, man, I've never really done anything by myself. Like, I've never gone anywhere away by myself. And if I have, it's, everyone knows where I'm going and it was all put together. But there's never been anywhere like, I would say, a vacation. And I'm not, I'm not saying by any means that you have to, book a flight to the other side of the world tomorrow. I mean, solo travel doesn't have to start with Italy, although Italy sounds pretty good. And the reason why I chose to talk about this today is because, and I've mentioned this several times in different episodes, is that I am entering my new milestone. And now I'm like 33 days away from my 60th birthday. And I'll tell you, that whole thing with, oh my God, what am I going to do from now on? And I'm not talking about I have nothing to do. I'm saying, what am I going to do for myself that I haven't done for myself that is going to be something that I'm going to do by myself, if that made any sense. But I want to dig into having the freedom to do that without any permission slips. I mean, it could start with something small, go somewhere that isn't local, or even driving a couple of hours away or picking a town that you've never explored. You know, when I say book yourself a nice hotel, I do mean that because there's a lot of freedom in that. And you can actually explore in different places if you go to a different town and find a nice restaurant, walk around, visit a museum, sit in a coffee shop, and go see something that you've always wanted to see. And here's the important part, okay? This is the kicker here. Oh, don't invite anybody, okay? Somebody just said, now, wait a minute, Lily. No, because that's the exercise. This is the project that I am working on within myself, and I am inviting you all to come out and take this little journey with me. This isn't about not having people who love you. This isn't about becoming antisocial. And it's certainly not about deciding that you don't need anybody, because that's not where I'm going with this. I mean, human beings need one another. And of course, community matters, and friendships matter, and family matters. And of course, love matters. But there's a difference between wanting company and believing that you require company in order to live. And because my children are all estranged and they're all grown up and, they're all gone. I only have one at home, but she pretty much does her own thing. She's going to be 23. It's kind of like, this is my time. And for some reason, now that I'm entering this new era, or I've entered this new era, I should say, and now that I'm going to enter a new milestone, I'm like, so what am I going to do now? What am I going to do for the rest of my life? Like, it's my turn. It's my time. And that's kind of what I really do want to talk about today, because I think some of us have like accidentally made companionship a permission slip. I'll go if somebody comes with me, or I'll try it if my friend wants to do it, or I'll eat there when I have somebody to go with, or I'll take that vacation when I'm in a relationship. And sometimes nobody comes. Like, think about it. So you don't go either. And that's the part that I really want us to change and to look at differently, because there is something powerful about learning that you are actually pretty good company. And you may not even know that yet, especially if you spent most of your adult life surrounded by people. Some of us have become mothers young. And some of us raised families. Some of us were ran single families because that's where our lives were. Or, some of us were wives and some of us were caregivers and some of us were the person everybody called. And some of us have spent decades asking, did everybody eat? Does everybody have what they need? Did you make your appointment? Do you need a ride? Did you take your medicine? What do you need me to do? And somewhere in all of that, you can forget what it feels like to ask yourself, what do I need? What is it that I need? Or even better, what would I enjoy? Not need, enjoy. That's different. I think women sometimes have an easier time justifying what we need more than what we want. And if I need new shoes for work, okay. If I need something for the house, okay. If one of the kids needs something, absolutely. But I want to take time to take myself somewhere beautiful for 3 days. Like suddenly we're doing financial presentations in our heads. And I know what you mean. It's like we start saying, okay, well, I got this and I could pay this off. And, I got to start saving. We just start doing that. That's like an automatic thing that we just do. Well, another thing is like, people just come out and, we're like, well, I don't know, or I probably shouldn't, or maybe I should save that money, or maybe somebody needs something. Come on, stop, please. Of course, I'm talking about doing these things responsibly. Come on now, pay your bills, take care of your responsibilities, and don't come back from your weekend getaway and tell the electric company, "Oh, I can't pay it this month." But responsibly and self-denial are not the same thing. You cannot be responsible, or I should say, let me rephrase that. You can actually be responsible and still live. And I think traveling alone can teach you something that being at home alone doesn't always teach you. At home, everything is familiar. Your routines, your neighborhood, your grocery store, your couch, your people. But when you go somewhere unfamiliar by yourself, even if it's only a couple of hours away, you have to depend on you a little differently. You figure out where you're going, you decide what you're doing, you walk into that restaurant alone, wearing what you want, how you want, with this freedom. You ask the questions, you make the reservations, you navigate the streets, you change the plan if you want to, and you solve the little problems that come up. And somewhere in the middle of all that, you start thinking, look at me, I actually did that. And that kind of confidence travels home with you. That's why this episode it's not really about vacations. It's all about freedom. And yes, there may be a moment when you walk into a restaurant alone and suddenly become very aware that you're alone. And the hostess might say, how many? Look back and forth and you say, one. And for some reason, that one sounds like she yelled it over the microphone. Table for one, calm down. It's one person. But if you've never done it, it might feel a little uncomfortable. And I want you to sit through that discomfort because it's a good type of discomfort. Don't bury your face in your phone the entire time while you're sitting there either. Look around, order something good, enjoy your food, people watch. Listen, I've been into people watching lately and I like it. And I'm learning like, oh, I should do that. Or I like what she just did. And I just sit there. And sometimes I'm in a car if I'm in between appointments with clients in the evening. And I simply do what is called people watch. I mean, you can also have a conversation with the server. Maybe talk to the people next to you. And here's something else that happens when you travel alone. You become more open to meeting people. And I'm starting to see that because I've started to take myself places and actually go in there by myself. I'm not talking to anybody because I am by myself. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? Because like, I don't even know anybody around here. I'm not even from here. But it's a great feeling because when you're traveling with people you already know, you tend to stay inside your little circle, if that makes sense. You talk to each other, you eat together, you move together. But when you're by yourself, you notice people differently. Maybe somebody asks where you're from, or maybe another woman is traveling alone as well. And maybe, you meet somebody at breakfast, or who knows, maybe you have a 20-minute conversation with someone you might not even see again. And isn't that part of living? Doing different things and taking ourselves out of those spots where we're always in, where we're just comfortable and not getting out of those zones that we're so used to. Because not every meaningful human interaction has to become a lifelong relationship. Some things, some people are simply part of a moment, a conversation, a laugh, a story you bring home. And then there's the quiet. And I think that's the part that scares some people, because when you travel alone, eventually it does get quiet. Like there's nobody sitting beside you filling the space, of course. And that's when you actually get to meet yourself. Not the mother, not the wife or the ex-wife, not the employee, the caregiver, not the grandmother, not the woman everybody expects something from, just you. And maybe you sit somewhere beautiful in the morning with a cup of coffee, or maybe you pray, or, maybe you journal, which I am so liking these days, is journaling. Because when I write these things in my journal, I actually catch myself like, oh man, just a reflection. And I like to do that now, and it's very soothing for me. Um, maybe listen, maybe sometimes you just don't do anything. Maybe you just sit there and you just think, God, look where I am. And that's going to lead me into my scripture today, which is Psalm 46, verse 10. And it says, be still and know that I am God. That's it. I'm not giving you a sermon. you, you know that's not what we do here. But I love those words, be still. Sometimes being still can be so quiet, but yet so loud. Because sometimes we're so busy doing things that we don't know how to simply be. And maybe your own little eat, pray, and love experience, it doesn't require you to travel around the world. Maybe it's eat something that you've never tried and pray somewhere quiet, or and love the woman who had become enough to have the courage to come and become, which is you. I always want to say something practical, because we're grown women here having grown conversations. You see, freedom doesn't mean being careless. And sometimes that's the way it's looked upon. Oh, her husband's at home and look at her. She's out here, by herself, and like she doesn't have an obligation to her marriage or to to her partner. Because sometimes freedom can actually be misinterpreted, especially when traveling alone. I mean, tell somebody you trust where you're going when you're doing this. I mean, we always talk about safety first as well. Keep your phone charged. Know how you're getting back to your hotel. Don't advertise to every stranger that you're alone. Pay attention to your surroundings and trust your instincts. Don't drink so much that you lose awareness of what's happening around you either. And have your transportation figured out. And if something doesn't feel right, of course, leave. You don't owe politeness to a situation that makes you feel uncomfortable. That's another permission slip we can tear up. You are allowed to walk away. Safety and freedom can actually exist together. But I want to challenge you beyond the safety part, because sometimes what we're calling fear isn't actually danger. Sometimes it's just unfamiliarity. And there's a big difference between that. And Sometimes we're just, but I've never done that before. Okay, I get that. Then there's a first time for everything you've ever done. There's the first day you drove alone, or your first job, or your first apartment, a first time you handled something you didn't think you could even handle. You've already survived plenty of firsts. Why should an adventure be any different? Maybe the woman you're becoming needs some new first. I mean, think about that. We're always celebrating young people's first, the first day of school, the first car, their first apartment, their first job, or their first trip without their parents. But who decided first belonged to only young people? I'm almost 60. And I still want some first. I want some. I've never been here before. I've never eaten this before. I've never tried this before. Or I've never, done this by myself before. And I've never felt this free before, because give me some of those first. And this is where I'm at right now. And I want to share this with you because sometimes these are things that we don't even really think about, because we just feel we're just really comfortable where we're at, because we either don't care, or sometimes because we've just settled. And because one thing we have to understand, aging shouldn't mean, when we're aging, it shouldn't mean our world gets smaller. If anything, after everything we've learned, maybe we've finally earned enough wisdom to make it bigger. And if you're listening to me thinking, but Lily, I don't have anybody, I want to speak to you for a moment, because there's a difference between choosing solitude and actually experiencing loneliness. And I don't want to romanticize loneliness. And there's times when, like, we genuinely just want something beside us. I mean, someone to laugh with, or someone to share the view with, or someone to say, "Did you see that?" I mean, that's human. I mean, I want to keep this real, because wanting companionship doesn't make you dependent. But I don't want the absence of companionship to become the reason that you actually postpone your life. That's the difference. You can say, I would love someone to come with me, but if nobody can, I'm still going. That's my mindset now. Whew, there it is. That's the episode. I would love your company, but my life is not waiting for it. And that is freedom, my dear. And maybe some of us need to stop thinking of ourselves as the backup company. You know what I mean? If everybody else cancels, then we're disappointed because now I don't have anybody to go with. Excuse me? Because you're still there. You're still there. You can still go. I mean, when did you stop counting? You know, that's what loving yourself looks like, beyond affirmations and cute little notes. It's easy to say, I love myself. Okay. Do you enjoy yourself? Or do you spend time with yourself? Or do you take yourself somewhere nice? Or do you buy flowers for yourself? Do you actually sit down and feed yourself something beautiful? And I'm going to ask you this also. Do you allow yourself to experience things without needing someone else to validate the experience? Do you hear me? And can I get an amen? Because self love isn't only, I love the woman in the mirror. Sometimes self love is, girl, go pack your bag because we're going. And the we is me, myself, and I. And that's why this conversation belongs immediately after my last episode, the postmenopausal power, because I don't want us, I don't want us talking about reclaiming ourselves and then going right back to waiting. We've spent this season putting permission slips on the table, and one by one, we've been ripping them up. Permission to be liked. We have permission to change, permission to make our own choices, permission to look in the mirror differently, permission to embrace our bodies, and permission to actually live after menopause. And now, honey, it is permission to go. You don't need it, not from your children. You don't need it from your friends, not from society, and not from some imaginary age limit. And certainly not from me. I don't want you leaving this episode saying, Lily gave me permission. No, ma'am. And of course, that's not it at all. Because then I've become another permission slip. Oh, I heard this, and she thinks that, oh, we should just go at this age and we should do all that. No, that's not what I'm saying. I want you leaving saying, I realize I've never needed permission in the first place, and that's different. So, this is my challenge here. Don't just listen to this episode and say, "Oh my God, that sounds nice. I would love to do that." This is what I want you to try, because I'm telling you, I am on this journey and I am so serious. But I was like, man, I'm actually going to do that. There's been so much going on in the month of July in my family, and we're midway through August, and the weather has been so uncooperative this season for the summer. It's literally been raining and raining and raining. And I'm going to tell you something. I bought a pool this year. I had my pool installed. Oh my God. I revamped. I was so proud of my whole project that I'm going to tell you something. I have never been so proud of something DIY that I've actually done. And I put a lot of money into that project. But it's something that I've been wanting to do when I bought my own house. And I've been living here 5 years, and I said last year, I'm putting that pool in next year. And that was one of the things. And I just was like, trying to figure out, how am I going to do it? Am I going to have to need somebody to help me? And guess what? I did all that by myself with the help of my daughter, of course. But I'm going to tell you something. That felt so good and so freeing. And in the last couple of weeks, with all this going on and with the crazy summer, I said to my daughter the other day, I think on Saturday, because it looks like it's going to be the first nice weekend with no rain. And when I mean rain, I swear it's like been living in Seattle. It's been storms, and then it's good for 2 days, but it's been the cloudiest days, the weather, the temperature, it's just been all over the place. But anyways, I said to my daughter, you know what? I'm going to go to the beach this weekend. And she goes, oh, we're going to go? No, I'm going to go to the beach this weekend. And I just bought a new book at Target the other day. It's called Kin, and it was highly recommended. I went and I bought it. And I am going to sit on the beach and I'm going to read and I'm going to walk around and I'm just going to enjoy myself. And I am so excited that I'm actually going to do this. And I don't like to travel far by myself, but I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to put the music on loud. I'm going to put the music that I want to hear. And I'm just going to drive down that turnpike and I'm going to enjoy my company. And I'm going to talk to myself and I'm going to listen to the things I haven't listened to, whether it's a podcast, whether it's music, or I might just drive in silence for a while. But I'm going to take that first step. And I've made myself a new schedule, a new itinerary, I should say, that I'm going to start doing something twice a month by myself, away from home. So all that sounds nice. And, sometimes we just have to pick a place. Just, okay, this is what I'm going to do. My selection of the month for August has been, I'm going to the shore. I mean, pick somewhere. I mean, it doesn't have to be Paris. It doesn't have to be Bali. I'm exaggerating here, but then again, maybe not. And it doesn't have to cost thousands of dollars. I mean, pick somewhere outside of your normal world. Is the shore out of my normal world? It is, because where I live, we have all four seasons, and it's been very, very different for me the last couple of years when my daughter was sick, and there was times that we just couldn't go anywhere because she was sick. And I'm actually going to tell you something. Maybe it's just 2 hours away. That's how far I'm going to go. Maybe it's overnight, or maybe it's a weekend, or maybe eventually that is that passport trip that you've never dreamed about. Start where you are, and choose something you genuinely want to experience. research it, plan it, be smart about it, but save it for you to do. Save it if you need to. And then, guess what? Go anyways. If somebody wants to come sometimes, wonderful. If the girls are available for the girls' trip, that's great. If you have a partner you love traveling for, wonderful. We're not replacing connections. That's not what I'm saying. We are just removing the dependency on connection as a requirement for living. And there's a big difference there. And these are things that I've come to learn. I'm reading about. I'm enjoying seeing. I'm talking to other people. My job is an hour and 10 minutes away from home. And I go through a lot of towns, and there's times if I stop to eat something or I go and get gas, I go into, these convenience stores, and people are like, "Hi, how you doing?" And, sometimes I have my badge on with my lanyard that actually says what I work for. And they're like, "Oh, you work for this place?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah." And there's like a 5 minute, 10 minute conversation. And I never seen that person again. But in that moment, it's like, "Oh, did you know that there's a campsite around here?" Because it's like, I see that they're buying all this stuff, and the kids, I say, "Oh, you must be going on a trip." This man told me about the nearest campsite, told me about when is the best time to actually book the place to go for this camping area. Told me about this beautiful there's this whole lake that they have by there, and even different Groupons things that you can go with. That was like maybe a 5 to 8 minute conversation. Not only did I learn about that area, but I said, "I'm going to have to try that." I said, "Oh my God." You know what I said to him? I said, "Oh my God, it was almost like it was meant for me to run into you." He goes, "Yeah. And I hope you do it." I said, "Yeah, you take care and have a great day." And that was the end of the conversation. But I'm telling you, when I settled into where I was going, I looked up those places, and that is on my list of things to do by myself. It's almost an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes from home, but it's somewhere I've never been. It's something that I don't think I will do really want to go to. I'm not a big camping person, but I'm going to go to that place. I want to see that lake. I want to see those bridges. I love bridges. I love to see different bridges. And he was talking about those things. I said, "I'm so there." So you see where I'm going with this. Um, you know what I hope? I hope like one day you're sitting somewhere you've never been, and you're there with a cup of coffee, a glass of something good, a beautiful meal, an ocean or a mountain, a city skyline, whatever makes you happy. And you have this little moment. Nobody else may even notice, but you smile, and because you realize, I brought myself here. I didn't wait. I didn't talk myself out of it. I didn't decide I was too old. I didn't wait for somebody else's calendar. And I didn't ask whether anybody else thought that I should do it. I just came. And maybe even you're going to give yourself that little whisper, "Thank you, God." And then you tell yourself, "I'm proud of you, girl," because both of these things can be true. Be grateful to God, and be proud of the woman that you've become, and the woman that you continue to become. We have so much more ahead of us, but we just have to give us that okay, not the permission. We have to take that faith, that leap of faith to do different things. So listen, that is my story. And that is what I wanted to talk about today, because I'm telling you something. I'm just going in a whole different direction now. So we're almost at the end of the no permission slips. I think we have one more episode, and this has probably been by far one of my favorite seasons. And I feel like this season has taken us somewhere. We didn't start these conversations so we'd finish exactly where we began. We've talked, I've laughed, and we've looked at some uncomfortable things, and we've owned some things and actually challenged some things. And hopefully we've released some things. And when you listen and I share what I'm saying, and a lot of it is usually almost 99% personal things that I share, personal things that I've either go through or experience. And I just like to talk about it because when I'm in this new era, I'm starting to talk to people women my age, even men where like 50 and over, one 50-year-old can have a different perspective of another 50-year-old and 55, and because we're all experiencing things differently. And one of the biggest things that we're experiencing differently is menopause, because sometimes that puts us in a funk where, oh, I'm not going out because as soon as I get out and I get dressed, I start sweating. This is what a girl told me, one of the girls I work with the other day. She says, listen, I don't even go out hardly. If it doesn't have an air conditioner and I don't have my little portable fan, I says, I can't go. I can't get dressed up because I get uncomfortable. I get hot, and I get it. I get it. But please don't let that hold you back from doing anything. Find things that can actually accommodate all those things that are making you uncomfortable when you do go out. So I'm excited. I'm excited to come out and move forward. And listen, there are permission slips we carried for years without even realize they were in our pockets. And now, literally, they're on the floor. They're ripped up. So before we close this season, I want you thinking about one question. Where would you go if you stopped waiting for somebody to come with you? I asked myself, like, dang, where would I go? Like, what would I do and where would I go? I'm so used to always being with somebody. With I'm always either with my kids or if I am by myself, it's something that I'm because I'm at work and it's always the same people that I'm with. But just being by yourself, like what would I do? What would you actually do? And I'm not talking about not just geographically. I mean, think bigger. Where would you go in your life? Like like what would you try or what would you start or like who would you become? Make that the real trip. Maybe or I shouldn't say make that the real trip. I should say something like maybe that's the real trip. Maybe the destination isn't the point. Maybe somewhere along the way you can actually meet yourself and you discover she's actually been pretty wonderful company. So listen, eat, pray, love, and explore. And by the way, why did I start saying eat, pray, and love? Because when I was seeing these episodes of Tracy Ellis Ross, I'll tell you, the first thing that came to my mind was that movie many years ago, and it was Pray, Love, and Eat. And let me tell you something. I actually went back and watched that movie again, and I'm like, oh my God, it just clicked. I said, I got to do this. I have to do this because if there were movies how many years ago about women doing just what we're talking about today, and then we have someone right in the present saying the same thing, that was a sign for me. That was definitely a sign. And I'll tell you one thing, talk to somebody new. Order your own dessert, what you want. Order something you've never tried before. Take that picture and share your picture and sit in silence sometimes. I do that a lot now. And of course, I always say, say that prayer. And one thing I've actually watched when I think it was maybe a couple of weeks ago, I was literally at the Walmart and it was raining so bad. And all of a sudden, I just sat there and this beautiful rainbow came and I got the goosies because I was like, man, I was just sitting there in silence and just that beautiful rainbow. And the other thing, and I always love to share this with my friends, I don't care how old they are, get dressed up and take yourself to dinner. Take that outfit that still has the price tags on it that you still want to wear when you go out and you're waiting for somebody to invite you or you still want to use it, so that you can go somewhere nice. Listen, take that outfit out. You can always go buy another outfit. Take it off, put it on. I go to work and sometimes the girls say, "Oh my God, do you have court today?" Or do you have a special visit? No, I'm starting to wear everything that I don't wear because I'm no longer going to sit here and say, oh, when I go here or when I lose 5 pounds or no, I'm done with that. And when I tell you this, I am so, so on point with what my new regimen is. And everybody now and then has to say they have to go away. Not because you're angry. Don't go away because you're pissed off at anybody. Just say, you know what? It's time for some me time. I said the other day to my daughter, 'cause she lives with me, she's mostly the one I talk to, but I said, you know what? There's been so much going on every weekend. It's something, but my daughter's wedding really took a lot of energy and it took a lot of time because of the planning and everything. And then it was just like, wow, that was finally over. Then the next week, my daughter has a house party, and then the week after that, she got baptized. It's literally been one thing after the other. And I was just saying, I said, you know what? I think I'm going to take off a couple days and I'm not going to do nothing. I'm not even going to move my car. I'm not going to go shopping. I'm not going to order out either. I'm going to cook in my house and just enjoy myself because I am always on the go and I'm not taking that time to just stand still. And before I go, I have something else I'm so excited to finally be able to say here on my podcast, because I did share something episodes ago, but I said it was in the making. The Simply Lili has officially grown beyond this podcast. It's actually simplylili.org. It's simply live. And I am so excited because there's a whole website that was put together, and I put it together. And I have to give my daughter her flowers because through trial and error, we learned how to put our own website together. And in that website, you can visit it, catch up on the podcast, because my podcast is on there. Read the blog. I actually have a shop there. So shop the Simply Lili collection, because I'm going to be coming up with other collections on this. And my collections are so nice. And watch as some new things actually begin to unfold with Simply Lili. And this has been another step into my becoming as well. And I'm excited to share this with you because I keep telling myself that I know I'm not done yet. And the blessings, God keeps blessing me, and just with the clarity that I have now and I know where I'm going, I'm so sure of myself and I know my worth, that when I go into this next part of my journey, I'm going in with a new reinvention, and I'm loving it. I'm actually loving it, and I do want to share it with you. Again, it's simplylili.org, and listen, take a look at it and let me know what you think. And every month I'll have a blog, and like I said, there's conversation. There's even a whole part on how I got started and what made me start this whole podcast, and of course, the website. So this is, like I said, it's another step in my becoming. And I'm excited to actually share with you. So listen, I'm going to tell you again. Visit the simplylili.org, look around, and actually come grow with me. And as always, if this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who actually would like to hear it. Follow the podcast, subscribe, and leave a comment, and let's keep the conversation going. Listen, we've got more conversation before we close season 4. And after an entire season of ripping up those permission slips, I think it's time we talk about what happens when there aren't any left. So until the next time, be good to yourself. Make yourself a priority. And wherever life is calling you next, listen, go anyways. This is Simply Lili, and I'll talk to you all soon.